What's up, guys? Happy what's today? Wednesday, Tuesday. Chuck Silver and Nick Marro here with Occupy Fantasy to bring you whatever strategy we can for today's ridiculous slate. Difficult one. We just got a whole bunch of news. The whole Bulls team is out. I'll show you the top value. Surprise. Nick, how are we feeling about today?
Yeah, man. It's that time of year. A bunch of nonsense across the league. Denver fired Malone today, which is a story on itself. But yeah, just a lot to get through, and we only have so much time, so let's just hit the ground running, I think.
Yeah, Jose. Yeah, hit that like on the way and appreciate you guys showing up. We only have a few more days of the regular season. Each team has what, 3, 4 games left?
Something like that.
Yeah, Ben, good to see you. Heath, Unicorn Love. And so we know what teams are tanking, and we know some teams, like basically everyone in the West in the playoff picture, wants to win. Like Suns can get into play in, I think, if they win out, Dallas loses every game and someone else loses every game, but seems kind of unlikely. So maybe other than them, but they will be trying tonight anyway. Let's jump into the first game. I want to wait for the Chicago stuff to kind of calm down in the model a little bit. So we'll start with Memphis.
hmm
I mean, Zach Edey, top of value once again. He's been playing big minutes. He's pulling ownership. I don't think his price came up quite enough on DraftKings. And then a few other guys are actually showing us really good value here. What did you like from Memphis?
Yeah, I mean, they look fine. I think there's one of the teams kind of still playing for seeding, which is notable. Great matchup here against the Hornets. Obviously, not really a great defense over on that side of things. I think Jaw looks okay. I mean, the minutes are there. He's back down below 9K, which is a good thing to see. I don't mind mixing him in. You mentioned Edie, who's getting a ton of love on this slate. I like him. I do think he's a little bit more popular than maybe he should be for how many games we have available. All season, we've been kind of waiting for his minutes to stay consistently. It seems like they are, or to stay consistent, excuse me. It seems like they finally are. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know. They could blow out Charlotte and go small if they wanted to. So I think there's a little bit of risk at the ownership. Definitely not a player I'd be avoiding by any stretch. He looks great in the model in terms of value. But yeah, it's really those two that I have interest in. And I will say, I mean, Bain, Jackson, you can mix them in. But I've been making this point since Jaw's been back and since they got rid of their coach, Morant's playing full minutes. I think Bain and Jackson are a little bit overpriced. So really, it's just Edie and Moran for me. I don't think it would be crazy to go out Dom off the bench, but I'm hesitant to lock in any value in these early games unless it's like a complete smash, knowing that a lot of things are likely to change.
I should probably flash this. I'm actually not getting as much Zach Edey as I thought. Zach Collins, this ownership is wrong. I have like 100% right now while the numbers are still
Yeah,
crunching. He's 3,200 on DraftKings, 22.6 DK value at 23.6 minutes. So this doesn't have that much more adjusting to do. So Zach Collins, I mean, that'll be the first guy in our dummy build tonight. So keep that in mind. Every other center's ownership is going to be pushed down because of that. But Zach Edey's second on the model. So if you go value at center utility, that seems fine. But Zach Collins is going to be the priority at center tonight over everyone else.
yeah, and we just got that news, but you're completely right. Like I'd much rather get to Collins than I would Edie, even as chalk. I think there's plenty of other ways to get different.
Yeah, because just real quick, like everyone is out for Chicago today, so that's the whole slate. Let's look at the other side of this first game, Charlotte. And I was getting to Jaw also, and then tournament shots and everyone else besides Edie. But from the Charlotte side, I mean, it's a 14.5 point spread, 229 total. It's not bad. It's not great, though. I'm getting basically no exposure to Charlotte. Were you looking at anyone here?
No, no. I mean, I don't know. Curry's going to start again. He's cheap. I don't think we need to go there. Kenneth, AK, KJ Simpson is one guy who's been kind of producing where he's priced. I don't mind him, but again, I'm just so hesitant to use much from these 7 o'clock games, other than maybe the Bulls, just knowing that more can open up. But yeah, I'm pretty neutral here. I don't think there's anything we really need to prioritize.
Yeah, I'll just mention Musa's at the top of DK value here. Same price as Zach Collins. And a lot of times I talk about Zach Collins is going to be like 60, 70% owned. Musa's going to be too. This doesn't, I wouldn't make this pivot. And then Saloon is playable on both sides. Other than that, I'm pretty okay just skipping this whole game. I will mention Josh Okogie, not great value, but 3,900. He's probably the guy that could spike for value, but I don't think we want to pivot off the value. I think we want to find the high price guys to get to today.
Yeah, like I said, I think if there's one play here I'd play, it would be Simpson, but I don't love it.
Let's go to this next game, Washington and Indiana. It's a pretty good one. Should be, for DFS. 20-point spread. I saw the line move one. I was like, that's not correct. 235 total, 20-point spread. It's one of the fattest we've seen this season. We know we like Indiana at home. Let's start with Washington, though. Sar, good value on DK. Jordan Poole, we know he's probably only going to play a few minutes, but he is pulling ownership at the price. He's shown a ceiling. And then I'm playing Justin Champagne over the field basically every day. How hard were you looking over at Washington?
Yeah, I mean the minutes have been there for Sarr, which is good to see. At the same time, his production has come down a little bit. I mean, now that we have Collins and some of this other value, I think he's tough to get to. But if you look at the matchups he's been in lately, over 30 minutes against Boston, Orlando, Miami, obviously those are really tough spots defensively. I think he could spike a ceiling here. So I do have a little bit of interest in Sarr, more so on DK, where you could play the two centers, also a smaller slate. So just another reason to get there. You mentioned Champagne. Kind of feel similarly about him. He did kind of spike that ceiling against Boston. Another guy whose minutes are tough to trust right now. But as long as he's starting and he's projected to, I think at 1% ownership, he makes some sense. Other than that, I do think excuse me, Carrington was going to be interesting. Now that we have more of this value opening up, I don't know that we need to get there, but I will say his minutes are probably more secure than anyone else is on this team. They also have Kaishan George, who's a young player who they want to get run here, but he's coming off an injury. So Carrington to me is the quote unquote safest. Even if this game blows out, I think he plays into the fourth quarter. At the same time, I mean, there's nothing I'm really prioritizing.
Yeah, I kind of expect Carrington's exposure to come down a little bit, or his projected ownership anyway. Model doesn't love him. I'm about half the field right now. That is with pretty rough Chicago projections in there. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
tournament shots on SAR, but not super excited. I've been talking about AJ Johnson. Model really hates him today. The price came up. He is pulling 5 and 8%. So if I get one or two, I don't hate it, but probably not today.
I do just want to say, I think the model could be under projecting Carrington a little bit just in terms of his minutes. We have him for 33.6. Last four games, we're looking at 41, 36, 41, 38. I don't think giving him a couple extra minutes is too out of line, in which case he would probably pop up a bit more.
I gave him 31. Oh, I'm well above. Oh, never mind. I'm below the model. I should
Yeah, I
probably
think
bump that
he's like, I
actually.
think 35 is more realistic.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So bump him up a little bit, and he looks better. So he's in there for me, just not a big priority anymore.
Yeah.
From the Indiana side, I don't
Mhm.
know. Shots on Hallie at 12 and 15%. Model doesn't love him. Miles Turner's at the top every day. TJ McConnell showing up today with that 20-point spread. I mean, we haven't projected for only 18 minutes, but 3,800. What do you think about TJ McConnell?
Yeah, I don't mind him at the price, just kind of as a pivot off of some of the other chalk. I think he's the exact same price as Horton Tucker, who has burnt us at times in the past, but going to be tough to get off THD if he starts. But I will say, I mean, Indy in blowouts with a healthy McConnell, usually he plays almost the entire fourth quarter. If you're going to get that out of him here at his price, he is somewhat appealing. Other than that, I mean, the starters are all kind of priced where they should be. This team's getting healthy, getting ready for the playoffs, etc. Nothing standing out. It is a great matchup. If Washington can somehow keep this game close, you're going to want pieces here, but I don't really think that's a likely outcome. So yeah, I'm comfortable maybe mixing in some TJ. That's probably going to be it. Obi Toppin, another name that I'm sure maybe gets brought up or asked about. He's been playing really well lately. At the same time, I just don't think we can confidently project his minutes anywhere where he's going to pop up in a big way. So a little bit of TJ for me. That's probably it. But if you're taking shots on Hallie, Siakam, even Turner, I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, the problem with Obi is he got priced up a little bit and he's back to his bench spot. So even if he gets that blowout run, I don't think it's really worth taking the risk
It's
on.
not much.
And
Mhm.
so it's just a few percentage shots here. I will mention theyese guys look good. Naismith and Nemhard are elite in the model. Just keep in mind the minutes we have projected for them. If they end up sitting out the fourth quarter, they're going to lose a whole rotation. Next game, Atlanta and Orlando. Wow, I'm getting not a lot of Atlanta. Makes sense. They're going against Orlando. Model likes Niang and Levert on DraftKings, and then I guess it likes Niang. Ricochet's okay, and Trey Young is a fine pay up to get to at 3 and 2%. What do you think about Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, this is like the ultimate pace down. Atlanta team that usually plays really fast. Orlando's going to slow them down. Good defense. Not a good spot for these guys. Again, 7 o'clock game gives me another reason not to necessarily want to get here. They're not healthy, but they're as healthy as they've been lately. So I think everyone's kind of appropriately priced. Okongwu now over 8K on DK. He's been playing really well, but this is not a spot where I'd want to be paying that for him. Trey's price is now up over 10K on DK. So if their price is held a little bit cheaper, maybe I'd have some interest. But between the prices rising and the matchup, I'm pretty comfortable just not getting too much Atlanta at all.
Yeah, I'll mention the guy I was getting the most is Karis Levert, and he's model approved for DraftKings anyway.
Mhm.
4,600, 6%, 3% ownership. I don't mind getting there a little bit, projected for 25 minutes. If I'm not mistaken, He definitely has the potential to play bigger minutes.
Yeah, I
And
mean, when he gets hot, they let him run. That's kind of the issue with this team, though. It's like if Ricochet is playing really well, if even Krejci or Terrence Mann are playing really well, we can see some of these guys get more minutes than they usually do. I do think Levert is the most likely of that group to kind of fall into that. So I'm with you. I wouldn't mind mixing him in, but again, I don't know how much value I want to use, especially contrarian value in these early games.
today models on Niang over Ricochet, we get a pretty decent discount. They're both projected for 1%, but if you get zero, I think it's fine. Other side, Orlando. What is the ownership on Paolo Banchero? 44 and 35%. I didn't realize it was that high. That's really high, projected for, or I should say 12.2 OF index with okay values on both sites, 9,800. I didn't quite get this 44%, but I do have a lot of Paolo. Are you the same?
Kind of, yeah, especially on DK where we don't have the late games. I just think he's easy to get to. And like how many Orlando games have a tight spread and a total over 220? It's rare. Like this is as good of a spot for them as you're going to see. I'm always someone who favors Paulo over Franz. If you can't quite get to Paulo, I'm fine landing on Franz, but I think both of them look pretty good here given the matchup. And again, if there wasn't so much value elsewhere, I wouldn't be as eager to get to them, but I just think it's so easy to fit them and another pay up in lineups tonight. So yeah, I'm very comfortable with it, and I'm always kind of team Paulo over Franz. But yeah, the ownership maybe it makes some sense to pivot a little bit. But yeah, you could definitely make a case for those two anywhere. Really, they look good.
I'm getting a chunk of Franz too. That's really the only exposure I'm getting from this team. They are missing. I guess it's just Mo Wagner and Jalen Suggs out tonight, but I don't know. I don't hate it. Are you okay playing Paolo and Franz in the same lineup?
As someone who only plays a handful, I wouldn't want to do it. If you're playing 150 and getting it in a couple, I don't think it's a rule you need to necessarily set. Just make sure it's not something that's popping up frequently because they do profile better than usual here. I could see a world where certain optimizers are going to pump them out together a lot
Yeah.
given the boost against Atlanta. So just keep an eye on it. I don't know that you need to set the rule, but you wouldn't want it in more than, say, a few lineups.
Yeah, so I'm playing 150 today. Usually only reg 100, but I don't know, large slate. I just want more combos,
Oh.
and I'm not setting that rule to separate them, but I did get them more than I would like together, and so I got to figure out a way to kind of not get as much together with the two of them. What I do want to mention is I have Paolo as like the fourth highest projected guy on the slate. He's the cheapest. Everyone else is much more expensive. Luca, SGA, and Giannis, and so kind of what you just said about optimizers are going to jam certain guys in. They love Paolo today because his price fits with the Chicago guys, and he's projected basically almost the same as like Giannis, SGA, Luca. I have them only a couple points apart, so
Right.
that's something to consider. Paolo's a great play. He's probably going to be overowned, but I'm not advocating to fade him at all. Just thought I'd mention that.
Yep.
All right, we got the main event here, Chicago. Let's refresh and see what the model thinks. Well, Zach Collins' value went up even more as he got more minutes, 29.5. Now we have him at 45% ownership. I already had 100. I'm probably going to bump him a little bit now. I'm still going to have 100. I have 100% THT. And then I have a ton of Modest Buzelis and chunks of Dalen Terry, Patrick Williams. What about you?
Yeah, it's just they all look good, right? On paper they're all going to look excellent here. It's just kind
Mm-hmm.
of we have to rank them and like kind of figure out which of them are worth playing as chalk and if there's any that are risky, maybe which ones do we want to get away from. I think Collins is the safest. I think we've seen it. Whenever he's the starting center, regardless of how these games play out, he tends to put up massive numbers. I'm very comfortable getting really heavy on him here, even in a tough matchup. The total's high. I know the spread's wide, but I think regardless, he's going to be heavily involved. I do like Buzelis. He's another young player. I think they want to see what they have with him. I think they already know they got a good player in him, but I'm pretty confident in that. I will say Horton Tucker, 100% of him does not feel great to me. We've seen him kind of burn us as chalk over the years in different situations, whether it be with the Lakers or these Bulls. I think he's going to get the start. I think he looks really good, but if he's going to be one of the more popular plays, I do think he's someone I might want to come in a little bit under on. There are other ways to go at guard tonight. he's just someone who I maybe it's bias, honestly. Like he's just burnt me so many times in the past that I don't know. I know the ceiling's there. I don't want to talk anyone off him. If you're playing a lineup or two, you definitely want him in there. But to go so heavy on a play like that, it's definitely terrifying. Other than that, man, like guys like Williams, I mean, Phillips, Terry, they all look fine. It's just I don't know that I could really say one looks better than the other. At the same time, I don't know how many of these guys I want here. Even though the total's high, it is the Cavs. It's not the best matchup. Like they could lose by 50, and I don't think anyone would be surprised.
So what I will say is I can't imagine coming off my 100% of Zach Collins. I likely come down 100% from Talon because, like you said, the pivots are
Mm.
good. Because here's the thing: even if he puts up, let's say, a really good score for his price, like 27, 28, like we're not upset at all. We're thrilled about that, and we probably just lock that in. But there are, if you're playing like the largest fields, there are other value guys that could outscore him. That could be the pivot. But I don't think THT is the guy we want to pivot off of. We have him at 28. There's no
Mm.
way he comes in only 33% owned. He's going to be 50 plus, but I don't know. I'm pretty comfortable with it. I don't want 100, but I can't imagine having less than like maybe 80%. I just want to make sure I get lineups without him that mix in the other guys. Like Javon Carter is basically the same DK value, but the ownership right now, we're not projecting too much different. He is a little bit cheaper. Dalen Terry's pivot, and then Jalen Smith, I guess, is, I don't want to call him a pivot off Zach Collins. Like, yeah, Zach Collins could get hurt in the first minute or foul trouble or whatever, but are you mixing in Jalen Smith too?
I'm not. Again, it's because I'm only playing a handful of lineups, though. I don't think
Okay.
it's crazy. But back on the Horton Tucker point, yeah, if he's going to play 28 minutes, he's definitely a no-brainer. Like, I don't want to talk people off of him. He has failed, though, in this role. And I mean, there are games in his game log where he's playing 30 minutes, scoring 18 fantasy points. I don't think that's what we're going to get from him here. I do think he's a good play, but I think I could poke more holes in him as chalk than I can Zach Collins.
So my thing is just everyone is out, and unless he's playing completely awful, I don't see him get coming off the court.
Yeah, I mean Javon Carter. It's not like he's some young buck that they really want to get exposure to. Like they really want to know what they have in Javon Carter going into the offseason. That's just not a thing. Um, it's mostly vets in the backcourt, even with so many guys out.
I guess what I'll say is just watch the ownership. Maybe if the gap widens a little bit, we can make a few more pivots. And then I want to make sure we really mention Modest Buzelis. I think he's like the
Mm,
guy we should focus on. Like we mix in the values, but we play Modest. He's project. This is wrong too. But even at
love
this
him.
higher price, yeah, 33 minutes. I love Modest. I have 50% my exposures right now. I'll be pretty comfortable with that.
Yeah, if the field's over on some of these guys more than they should be, I think they're under on Buzelis in a big way. He's definitely someone I want a lot of exposure to.
Just hope he hits 34 minutes. I mean, I don't know that he's a scorer. I mean, we're kind of just hoping he has this safe-ish kind of floor with rebounds and assists, and then just take 17 shots today, man. Put up 50 again.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not the best matchup for rebounding, I will say, with Mobley and Allen in there.
And if it wasn't like, so Patrick Williams is like the eighth or ninth best value on his own team, but this is 13.3 is not bad value score. The ownership, this is probably too high. Maybe if he starts, then he'll be appropriately owned. But 3,700, I have some percentages. Actually, I have more than this 18% right now. Didn't notice that.
Yeah, I think I'd rank him behind Terry for sure. Him or Phillips is kind of a tough question I'm asking myself right now. Yeah, man. I mean, I just feel like he's just like a younger Harrison Barnes. Like he could get you the 30, or he could just go out there and hang out and just let the kids run around. So I don't really know how I feel about Williams. Probably not someone I get to only playing a handful of lineups, but definitely someone you need exposure to playing 150.
I'll mention I really don't hate playing him on. I mean, I'm playing a ton of him on DraftKings today, I guess, unless I pivot off. But on FanDuel, I don't hate it. Just get a couple steals, and usually that's enough to not kill us. 4K price,
Yeah.
24% might be a little bit high, but this whole team is highly owned. And then my last question on the Bulls: do you care about how many we're playing together in a lineup on DraftKings? Typically, I set max 3 per team for a lot of slates. Today, I'm debating between 4 and 5 Bulls.
I think four feels about right. Again, you don't have the two late games over on DK, so I'm a little bit more comfortable. Um, I'd say four, but again, I'm not the one pumping out 150 tonight, so I almost want to lean on you for that.
And then Unicorn Love for Chicago players on FanDuel. Yeah, absolutely. I would not
You
set
can
any
do it.
rules
Yeah.
doing that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Let's see. Let's finish out the rest of this game, and I'll get to some questions. But the other side, Cleveland, you'd think we'd be a little bit more interested in this team. They are pulling heavy ownership. I didn't quite get there as much. Darius Garland is super popular. We have a 15-point spread. I don't know. There's no Donovan Mitchell today, right?
Yep, that's the thing. I mean, if this game's even a little bit close, Garland looks amazing. At the same time, I mean, it's not like he's cheap, so you don't need to force it. They looked even better before all this news for the Bulls. Obviously, we were expecting a more competitive game. We didn't have all these great value options. And now, not only are we getting to more value at these positions, but we're also getting to more pay ups because the value's allowing us to get there, which is leaving plays like Darius Garland and Evan Mobley kind of in the middle. So I don't mind them, but at the same time, they're no longer really priorities. I do think Ty Jerome is someone you should probably have circled. Pretty solid play. Could probably play in a blowout too. I don't know if he has been as much lately, especially kind of dealing with injuries on and off. But yeah, he looks great. This is a great matchup for him, and he tends to show off when he's given the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't mind getting away from Darius a little bit. 33 and 41%.
It seems high.
Yeah. I did see something. DFS, you'd rather play Jerome and Hunter than any of the Chicago value. I just think it's incorrect. I think you want to mix in some of those Cleveland guys if you like Jerome and Hunter more, but you don't want to play them completely over. Like you wouldn't play Ty Jerome and DeAndre Hunter over two Chicago value guys. It's just
Mm.
their minutes we can I wouldn't say they're safe because they could do whatever with the rotation. Maybe someone's playing well, but it just we can their median projection is just so much better than these guys today. Jerome does project out as elite value though, so definitely mix him in. Even though he's pulling the ownership at 4,500, it makes sense to run it back.
Yeah, Hunter always scares me too because it's rare he gets over 25 minutes. I mean, the upside's there for him, but yeah, it's a little bit tricky.
And Landon, are we doing a show for the Masters before Thursday? I'm happy you asked. Actually, Brian, co-founder of Occupy Fantasy and PGA DFS crusher Niramata, put out the Masters video, I believe last night. So
Mario.
check that out. It's on our channel. Yeah, I already watched it. It's a really good watch. I'm going to follow the strategies and have a bunch of big tickets. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
Oh yeah.
I thought I only had one on FanDuel for the PGA Monster, but I have two, dude. It's such a nice surprise. It's a
Ooh.
$200 ticket.
There you go. Yeah, I didn't really win any, I don't think, for PGA, but I know both sites. I'm sure we got people tuning in. Both sites are just giving out tickets into the millie, so probably want to absorb as much content as you can before building for that.
Yeah, on DraftKings, I think it's for everyone. I'm assuming deposit $10 and get a free $10 ticket. So do
Yeah,
that.
I
Got a
got
free
that.
$10
And
ticket.
FanDuel just dropped one in my account today too for their biggest contest.
Nice. Yeah, it's going to be a good weekend. So our strategy is really strong for PGA. I don't really look at anything
Yeah,
else.
they crush. Yeah, I
And
just lean on them.
is Bobby Portis coming back today? I think we're expecting him to. He was out for suspension, so it shouldn't be like a game time decision. I'm pretty sure he's playing.
Yeah.
Does Matherin play during a blowout? I can't
Oh,
say definitively yes or no. It's possible, but I would lean towards no if that's like a decision maker for you.
yeah, I wouldn't expect him to.
Holmgren or Siakam? We were done with Cleveland, right?
Yeah, I'll say Holmgren just because I think that game's going to be more competitive.
Yeah, let's take a look. Okay, see, I'm interested in Siakam today. I'm usually not, well, maybe not that interested, but more than I usually am anyway. The model has a coin flip exactly. Chet's lower own. That could be the deciding factor.
Yeah, and again, I think if that indie game blows out, what is it, a 20-point spread? Again, whenever we say this, the game tends to play close. So maybe just do the opposite of what I'm saying right here. But yeah, I think that Lakers Thunder game is going to have somewhat of a playoff atmosphere.
And then did we like Ant Man? Take a real quick look.
I
No.
kind of do. I
I,
mean, I'd rather play Monchero, but if you're looking for a pivot,
yeah, I mean, he's for sure the pivot from Banchero. Yeah, and model's kind of down on him. There's only a couple guys in his price range lower than him. Devin Booker. Dang. That's only
sheesh.
on FanDuel though, I guess. But yeah, model doesn't love Ant, but he's a guy that shows up for me every day. I personally have like a weird bias against Ant. I thought I liked him, but I really don't for fantasy purposes. But I don't touch him. I just leave him alone. If I get 6-7%, I keep it. Carter, Chicago, 3,500. We'll take another quick look at Chicago specifically for FanDuel. Yeah, Javon Carter is actually the number one value over there. The 3,500 is really powerful. Point guard only, SGA shooting guard only. I mean, these are still the priorities.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see what that starting lineup looks like. I'm seeing some sites have both of them starting, Carter and Horton Tucker. I'm seeing others that have Horton Tucker at the one, Carter coming off the bench. It's interesting. I thought we'd get a bigger ownership gap between the two. I was going to be like, oh yeah, Carter's a really good pivot, but he's pretty damn popular as well. So I think they're good plays. I don't know that you're getting some huge kind of leverage though playing one or the other.
Why is Buzelis not a popular play? I think it's because the way that optimizers work, all the values are projected not that far below Buzelis, but their price is much better. And it's just easy to fit in stars and scrubs today. But what the optimizers aren't considering are like ceiling outcomes that we need to take down tournaments. So median projections probably don't love Buzelis today, but you got to consider the ceiling he can give us.
Top OF index play by a couple points, I think, for us for Bozella. So
For this
as far as
game,
Chicago Bulls go, yeah,
yeah, I mean, him, THT, and Zach Collins, I'm very comfortable playing as much of them as I get.
yeah.
Missy or Edie. Model has Edie by quite a bit, but I don't mind Missy as kind of a pivot, but Edie's probably the stronger play. I guess there's still some worry about his minutes.
Maybe I'm crazy. I think Misi's a little bit safer.
Let's see.
I think the upside for Edie is always crazy, but Misi's been locked in, man. He's finally playing really well.
Missy 14.3. They're not too indifferent. I mean, they're pretty close. It's not quite like coin flip. Edie has a clear edge, but this is assuming 27 minutes for both. Their ownership's about the same. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, and I mean Edie's competing against the starters there for Memphis for usage and everything else. I mean, Pelicans have pretty much shut everyone down. He's standing next to Kelly O and getting Alvarado throwing passes to him, and they're taking on my nets. So I do think it's a good Misi spot.
Power in the chat. Taylor Horton, sucker, because you're a sucker if you play him. Helped you out on that one.
I mean,
Yeah, four players was fine if you didn't hear that unicorn. And how good a play is Javon Carter on DK? I think the field really likes Javon Carter today, Nick.
yeah, it's crazy. Like I was sitting here the whole time thinking like no one was going to play him, everyone's going to go to Tucker, and then we could kind of pivot as a way to get a little bit different. But yeah, the field's getting to almost as much Carter as they were Horton Tucker now, so I don't feel as bullish as I did before. No pun intended. Um, I like him. I think he's fine. I actually think his minutes are maybe a little bit low in our model right now. I could see him getting close to Horton Tucker. We have them like 4 or 5 minutes apart.
I mean, I can just tell you what I'm pretty sure is going to happen with my stuff. And keep in mind, we're still going to get slate changing news most likely. So a lot of stuff is
Yeah.
going to move around. The Bulls should stay consistent, though. This is the team that we know we're going to like almost no matter what. I think just mix in Javon Carter.
Yeah, I'd mix them in for sure.
I don't think he's a
Uh,
guy we play like 50% of.
yeah, I think most of these guys were out. I'd have to look a little bit deeper into this. On the 26th of December, day after Christmas, Horton Tucker played 22 minutes, 8 fantasy points. Um, and where is he? Carter went off. I remember he had like 40 plus, I think. Yeah, 43 fantasy points in 35 minutes. So it could be a hot hand situation, which is kind of tough to predict. But yeah, I'm just as fine getting to Carter, I think, as I am Horton Tucker.
And the stuff we talked about with these other guys applies to Julian Phillips too. Anthony thinks that he's the move. We really don't know who's going to get the minutes, and so I think we just mix it up. We know who we're prioritizing though. Let's go to this next game. We're a little behind, Nick. We spent a lot of time on the Chicago game. It's a really important part of the slate, though.
Important. Yeah.
Uh, we got Boston, New York, 1.5 point spread. New York is the favorite here, which kind of blows my mind, but 222 total. Maybe it's like a pick 'em now. I don't know. But are you getting any exposure to Boston? I'm only getting a couple percents in tournament shots on Tatum.
No, again, I'm only playing a handful of lineups. It's just a healthy-ish team. Makes it tough for me to want to get to them. They finally have Brown and Tatum playing every night. I think Horford's out. He's the one. But Porzingis is in. So it would be Cornette if I were to get to something, but this is not the spot for it against the Knicks. We have much better value, in my opinion.
No one stands out on either side. I'll say maybe Derek White's playable on FanDuel at 4% ownership, 7,100. But other than that, I don't think
Yep.
it's.
Yeah, Brunson's back for the Knicks, so they're kind of overpriced too.
Yeah, and then on the Knicks side, 6% of Josh Hart and 1% of every other starter. What do you think?
I mean, they did lower Hart's price, so credit to both sites. But yeah, I don't know. This is just not the game between two good defensive teams that are healthy that I really want to be getting to on a slate like this.
Yeah, their prices haven't quite adjusted back from Brunson being back. Like OG came down. I think that's more because they're playing Boston, though. He went off last game. He still took
He's been going
those
off. Yeah.
17 shots, but like Brunson is back now. We're not going to project OG to keep taking 17 shots. And I don't know if she was actually there, but did you see the memes with Suni Lee and OG? I love that stuff,
I
dude.
love those memes, man. There was one with like Tate McRae and Cam Thomas a few years back. Like Jordan Poole had one too a few years ago. I always die when I see those.
It's like I
Um,
watched the highlights. I could not believe that what OG was doing all in that game because I've
the
never
head
seen him do a
fakes,
single one of
like
those moves before. This guy's really good at basketball.
yeah, I know. It's like, dude, we just like if you're an owner, just put a bunch of baddies in the front rows every night, get your guys going, man. I mean, it
Yeah,
seems to be a thing.
know your team, know your
Yeah,
guys.
figure out their tastes and yeah, just have a casting call, I guess.
For this next game, New Orleans Brooklyn, it looks like Missy's really the only guy pulling a double digit ownership here. We got some sprinkles on Reeves, Bruce Brown, Jose, and Keon Brooks, who is model approved. I love to see it. I'm happy to get to him every day. Don't even know if I can get over this 5% today. But New Orleans, they're kind of just pivots to the other guys. Is there anyone that stands out?
Yeah, I do want to victory lap my Jose Alvarado take a little bit. The last time
Oh,
we were
absolutely.
on, yeah, I was like, man, he's taking 10 threes a game. Like, they're going to start to fall. And he had two good games back to back against the Clippers and the Lakers. I think this is a good spot again for him here. I'm fine getting to him. Misty's the other one I'm interested in on the New Orleans side. Those are really the two. On the net side, it looks like we're going to get Reese Beekman starting a point. Um, I don't hate it. I mean, he had a really good game against Toronto. He was going to be very popular earlier today, but we've seen that ownership start to come down. I think it will continue to come down. He is one of the pivots if you're not wanting to get too much of those Chicago Bulls. I do think the Bulls are better plays, but as a means to kind of broaden your portfolio, for lack of a better phrase, I do think Beekman's someone worth mixing in.
Last note I'll mention on New Orleans real quick is just Jose Alvarado looks better over on FanDuel
Oh
5,900,
yeah,
pulling a little more ownership, but the model likes it there more too. And we know we kind of like Jose better on FanDuel in general.
Fox.
Yeah, Reese Beekman, very model approved, not as approved as Maxwell Lewis, though. Wasn't this guy on my Lakers a few months ago?
Yeah, yeah. The Nets just pick up everyone's trash, and I don't know. Sometimes it works out. Maxwell Lewis has been okay. He's another guy you can mix in. I do think the minutes are safer for Beekman. He's like a true point guard. I think the usage is safer for him as well. Lewis going to be kind of scoring dependent, but they're thin. I mean, they're shutting down a lot of guys. I don't think they have many of their regular guys in for this one. So, yeah, I don't mind Lewis. He does have forward eligibility too, which is kind of useful. But I think Beekman's the better of the two.
I have 3% Beekman, 2% Maxwell Lewis. And that's all my exposure to this team. I'm okay with that.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
I slammed Watford's unders today, so I just really hope he doesn't get there because Claxton is in for sure, right? I thought his lines were the same as they were when Claxton was out last game,
Oh,
and
dude. Yeah.
so
And Watford never plays more than like 26 minutes. So I think that's a good play.
like he doesn't score points. He's a good passer and he's an okay rebounder. Model hates him. 17% owned on FanDuel. I don't know. Like I said, I'm probably biased because I'm really rooting for him to fail, but we can probably fade him today.
Yeah. And they got Timmy behind him too. It might take a few minutes. Not that I'm playing Timmy tonight.
I see a question: Jalen Wilson or Kason Wallace. Jalen Wilson's one of the worst plays in the model. I think you can just X him out of your player pool today.
Yeah. All he does is shoot.
We'll go to Minnesota and Milwaukee. We already talked about Ant a little bit. He's fine to mix in. Doesn't super stand out in the model. Mike Conley's going to show up at the top here every day. I guess he's a possible pivot to the Chicago guys. And then Rudy Gobert on a monster tear right now. I'm pretty comfortable playing him at the 6,600.
Yeah, I mean Gobert. It was like, oh, the playoffs around the corner. Better start to play
Yeah.
basketball. He's been an absolute beast. Not the best matchup for him. He's been in some
Mm-hmm.
really, really favorable
Mm-hmm.
spots lately. But I'm totally fine going back to him, especially on DK. Where not only do you have two centers, but he's also cheaper over there. More of a DK play for me, but I don't think you could argue with playing him a little bit on FanDuel. Really interested in him, and it's just a way to get different. Not something I'm prioritizing at all. But Rudy, definitely my favorite Timberwolf if I'm playing anything from this team today.
Yep. And I didn't even get to the 16%, and I feel like I have a pretty heavy bag. If it wasn't the Bucks, I'd probably just go more over, but don't love this Bucks matchup. Anything else here?
No, I think that's it. But yeah, just again, Rudy's been absolutely crushing. Last time he played the Bucks, 37 minutes, 48 fantasy points. I wouldn't worry too much about the matchup.
No, a couple percent of Julius, I guess, but I don't really care if that goes away before lock.
Yeah, neutral play.
Milwaukee has Bobby Portis back today, and so their pricing, it's like Bobby Portis doesn't cut in that much. We do have him projected for 22 minutes. The only player pulling any ownership here at all is Giannis. That's the only player I got exposure to. I'm a third of the field over on DK, but he stands out. We have all the salary to get there. I guess we could mix in Brooke Lopez too. He is kind of model approved today. Is there anything else that you like here?
I'm a little bit surprised no one's playing Porter on DK. The
Mm-hmm.
FanDuel price at 6,600, it's just a no go for me.
Mm-hmm.
4,800 on DK, 0%. I don't get it. I think he should get some love if he's going to start again.
I think that's interesting you mentioned that because even at this higher price, he's model approved when a lot of guys in this situation I would expect not to be model approved. We only have him projected for 22 minutes, and so maybe he ends up starting. We kind of saw Ryan Rollins be the man last time. They were like, you wanted both in your lineup probably.
Yeah,
We can
that's
consider
been
that, but
tough.
neither of them are pulling ownership. Yeah, I think I kind of like that KPJ. I mean, that's a deep pivot. There's other guys like understand what you're doing when you play him, but it's for sure
If he
possible he does
starts,
it.
yeah, whoever starts, I feel better about. And it's not always the starter that outplays the other. It's been kind of one or the other most nights, but KPJ is the starter, and he hasn't been given nearly as many opportunities to do so as Rollins. I'd like it at very low ownership. I'm honestly more on FanDuel, but on DK, he would be someone I'd probably mix in. And then, yeah, we didn't talk too much about Giannis. I think with all the value opening up, just the raw points of a play like that, especially on DK, he's going to be appealing. So don't love the matchup for him, but he's Giannis. I mean, he's been producing. He could get you 60. That might be all you need from him. Obviously, you want more than that. But on a slate like this where raw points are going to be king, I do think he's appealing.
Man, the chat really likes your Brooklyn Nets today, asking about Tyrese Martin, who's an even worse play than Jalen Wilson in the model, projected for only 11 minutes. Even if you give him like, well, with this rating, if you give him like 25 minutes, he's still single digit value. And I'll mention Modest Buzelis. Like, I don't see a reason to get away from him. He's only 7 and 9% owned. This came down. Like, I would be surprised if he was this low owned, but I don't think he's a guy that we have to try to get away from due to ownership.
Yeah, I think we might have the minutes wrong on Martin. 11 is not correct. He's played
Yeah.
20 plus almost every game the past couple of weeks. I'll say this: I think Martin's a better play than Wilson. I don't think I want to play either necessarily, given all the value we have. But if you have to get to one of those two, it would probably be Martin over Wilson for me. Going against the model, I just don't think that he's a guy who plays 10 minutes. Like they do kind of want to see what they have with him.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about these minutes, fellas. If you think these guys play 20 minutes, just double this 10 value, 7 value. Still not great, but I mean,
Still
you
not
can,
great. Yeah.
if you want to play with the minutes, you can do it that way. What's the top studs that we're looking at? Bucks 34, Luca or LeBron? Who's your top stud today, Nick?
I mean, the model likes Giannis. I kind of like Paulo, but I don't even think he fits in that category. He's super chalky. Um, yeah, it's tough. I guess I'll say Giannis.
My highest owned stud right now is actually still Paolo. Kind of spread out, though, just
Yeah, I'm
mixing them
with you,
up.
man. I hate that he's so popular, but point per dollar, he's definitely the most appealing.
We talked about Milwaukee. Were you getting any? Would you be interested in taking any shots on Kuzma, or is it just too expensive now?
No, he's too expensive. And with Portis coming back, if it cuts into anyone, it's going to be Kuzma and Lopez. Like I said, if Porter Jr. starts on DK, I do think he's a little bit interesting.
Let's talk about my Lakers. We look awesome. We beat the pants off Oklahoma City last time. Was that like 3 days ago? We got them
Mhm.
again. I'm getting 0% exposure to my Lakers on DraftKings. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, Lucas just hasn't been really paying off his price. Can say the same for LeBron. Is there anyone else you really want to get to? I don't know. I think Reeves is overpriced, but he's been producing. It's like these guys are just a little bit too expensive. They're all a little bit cheaper. Those three I'd have some interest in. It's tough to really make a case for anyone else on this team when those guys are doing what they're supposed to do.
So I think this is the appropriate price for Austin Reeves because if he was any cheaper, I'd really like to play him. I think he's a good price on FanDuel. I guess maybe a couple hundred, like maybe he was 8,600, that would feel better. But I don't mind taking shots on
Yeah.
him. Model doesn't love him, but he's a guy that, like I said, I have 0%. But I could see getting to a few percent from the role players. I don't even think we have to consider any of them as pivots.
No. I will say. Actually, never mind. No.
Were you gonna
Did
say
Rui
Hayes?
play? I was, but I only like him when Rui's out. But I was wondering if Rui played that game against OKC or not, because Hayes did not get his minutes.
I seem to remember he was out, but I could be mistaken. Let's just check real quick.
Yeah, it was going to be Hayes, but with Collins on this slate, yeah, I just don't. I'd rather play Missy too over him, so I don't think I
No,
could.
Rui played 32 against OKC. I was
Okay,
mistaken.
that's the thing. So if you go 2 games ago against the Pels, Rui was out. Hayes got back to 24 minutes. I like him running that pick and roll with Luca. I think he becomes a good fantasy piece. So if you want to mix in some Hayes, you played 150. I don't think it's crazy.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Thank you.
Hmm.
Other side of this game, OKC. 10% SGA. Probably want to try to get a little bit more. I think he's been playing terrible. And I mean, for some reason, this game is a 10-point spread still. We should be 6-point favorites, if anything. I'm joking. But were you getting to anyone here beyond SGA?
I mean, I like SGA. I don't like that Case and Wallace has been sent to the bench for Lou Dort. Can't really play much Wallace anymore. But yeah, it's really just SGA. I think Chad at his price is fine. He played terrible against you guys last time out. I think that could change here. I'd always prefer him over Hartenstein when they're both available. Jalen Williams, he kind of like Austin Reeves, obviously a different position, but where he's priced, I'm just really not too eager to get there. It's mostly just SGA in so many words.
Yeah, I kind of want to bump Jalen Williams a little bit. He's okay on the model, doesn't look fantastic, but I'll take some shots at this ownership. We're not very good on defense, except for Jackson Hayes. He's elite. Uh, let's knock out these last two games that are on FanDuel. And if you're playing the DK night slate, there's some takeaways here too. Golden State versus Phoenix. What do we got from Golden State? Pod's playing fantastic lately, finally pulling 19% ownership. He's going to be very popular on the DK night slate too, as I think he should be. He's playing kind of out of his mind lately.
Yeah, man. Pause is a good play. I think he's solid. I think he's priced where he should be, but he's shown that he has the type of ceiling you want from a position like that. A little bit of a down game last time against Houston, but that's a tough matchup. This matchup against Phoenix is great for him. He's someone I want to get to. You could always make a case for Steph. He's Steph. He has that 100-point game in his bag. This is the type of matchup where maybe something like that comes out. At the same time, I'm not rushing to him. Can't call him a priority, but if no one's playing him at 9K flat, I do think he's probably someone you want exposure to.
Steph, I mentioned last time Dylan Brooks cannot guard him. I didn't know that Amin Thompson was the best defender of Steph of all time. And Houston double teamed him. They made his life
They
miserable.
double teamed him. Yeah, he had
Yeah.
3 points that game. I saw someone tweet that Bronny scored as many points as Steph in I think 1/10 of the minutes, which tells you all you really need to know.
I think
But
that's
yeah, this is a
true.
different matchup. He might be pissed off about that 3 point game. Maybe Steph really gets in his bag here. The more I think about it, the more maybe I want to get some exposure to him.
Yeah, I mean, 8% on FanDuel. That's probably actually appropriate for him on DK night slate. We can take some shots. We won't have the value, though, to get to him as easily. And then, is there anyone else here?
No,
Draymond?
I mean, Draymond's fine. I just haven't seen the ceiling much. Jimmy's fine. Again, I just really kind of want to drive home the Steph thing. I think I'm super bullish on Banchero, one of my favorite plays, but about the same exact price for like a fifth of the ownership. I think he's one of the better pivots.
I like it. We'll go to the other side with Phoenix and I don't know, a couple tournament shots on Devin Booker. His usage is through the roof. Bradley Beal's awful. Ryan Dunn, he's showing up as elite value. I hate it. This is another guy I just slammed his unders today because I just don't see it. Even if though he started last game, were you interested?
No, with Beal back, I know KD's still out. I'm just not as interested in these kind of secondary pieces for them. Um, Yeah, I mean, you can make the case for Booker. He's going to get a lot of defensive attention here, though. I'd rather play Steph in the same game for cheaper. I'd rather play Beal at a discount. I think they're more likely to kind of force Beal to be the guy. But yeah, nothing really stands out here for Phoenix.
Like this 19% on Beal, it seems high. I'm not going to say it's incorrect. The model doesn't hate him, but it just looking at it, it looks kind of high.
The FanDuel ownership on Booker is a little bit crazy. Like 33%. Is that real?
Yeah, I guess I should mention that's kind of high too, since there's like 10 games over there. That's probably too high, but the 9,200 price is a misprice.
Yeah, he's mispriced, but I mean, again, more reason to play a little bit of Steph, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Even at 38 minutes, Devin Booker, 12.3 Fanduel value. It's not bad, but it's not great considering how owned he is. Another
Mhm.
guy that optimizers are just jamming in because the value makes it easy.
Yeah, and again, I'm like really talking myself into getting to Steph, but like I think whenever he has a terrible game like that, he usually comes out and plays well. Trying to see if there's an actual pattern or any data for something like that, but yeah, I think that's one of the worst games of his career he's coming off of. So
It's
I think
got
we
to
get a
be.
good Steph Curry here tonight.
You'd never see LeBron score less than 10 points, man. He would do whatever it took. We'll lose the
Yeah,
game if we
man.
have to.
Dude, I actually think I bet Curry's like live over 4.5 in the fourth quarter, something stupid like that. And it never came. It was pretty ridiculous.
It's the
And then
saddest
they
bet
took him
ever.
off the floor with 2 minutes left because they were down 10. It's like give him a chance, Kerr, but whatever.
We just got Wizards starting lineup. I don't think I realized Keyshawn George was back. So, I mean, if you're getting to any exposure, maybe that just bumps everyone down a little bit. Maybe we already had him in the model. I didn't even pay attention to that, though.
Does that take who fell out of the starting lineup? Champagne or
No, Champagne, Carrington, Poole, Keyshawn George, and Sar. That is Keyshawn George, right? There's not another George. They were starting
yeah,
AJ Johnson.
AJ Johnson's no longer a starter, so I wouldn't be playing any AJ.
Could have been superstar. With the Spurs, Stephon Castle is an absolute stud. I'll mention his PRA lines are lower than I'd like today. Like they favored the unders, which I haven't seen recently, and they're playing the Clippers. Tough matchup. At that, with that said, the 14% I don't think is bad. On DK, I'll probably take some shots on the night slate, but I'm not as excited about him as I have been the past few slates. Do you like him? And is there anyone else on the Spurs that you want to get to?
I mean, I do like Castle. I think he's fine to mix in. At the same time, like, not really going to call him a priority or anything like that. That's it.
Yep. We'll go to the Clippers. Everyone else is just a mix in because we have the Bulls, so it's just tough. On the night slate, yeah, we'll probably, well, just real quick, if you're playing the DK night slate, I'll flash the Spurs value once more. Chris Paul, Harrison, Vassell, maybe Keldon. It's a little
Yeah.
thin, but it's not too bad. And then last game of the night, we have, or last team of the night, the Clippers. Did we get an update on Kawhi? We have him in today. He's questionable, front end of a back to back.
No word. I think he should be good to go. I mean, if there was ever a spot where they could probably win without him, it might be here, but I've heard nothing official.
Who do they play tomorrow?
Good question. I could check real
I,
quick.
they got to be worse than the Spurs, right? Like chances are they are.
Nope, the Rockets.
Okay, so I would lean towards not
I'm
being that
sitting tonight,
interested.
playing tomorrow.
And so
Yeah.
let's say Kawhi's out. Um, I would give a bump to James Harden. Maybe we'll take some shots on Norman Powell, who's probably underowned. Ivica Zubac's going to look good since, I mean, center ownership's all going to the other guys. And then Bogdanovich would show up. Everyone would kind of show up a little bit better. How do you want to handle this?
I would just leave most of those guys out and get to more Harden and Zoo. I think
Okay.
those are the two I'd have interest in. That's pretty much it.
I think that's a move too. If you're playing the DK night slate, this could be the source of value. We should know by the time that slate starts, though, so it'll be more clear.
Yeah, Bogdan could start. Derek Jones could start. So whoever ends up starting, probably good value on the night slate, on the main slate on FanDuel. It's too thin for me. Like I said, I wouldn't mind getting to some Harden or Zubac. Zubac should crush here against this front court for San Antonio.
Just knock out a couple questions real quick. LeBron, Tatum, Bridges. The model order is LeBron, Tatum, and then Bridges. I can't even find. I have to scroll down so far.
Yeah, I
Horton,
agree with
Horton
that.
Tucker or McConnell. Let's do one
Horton Tucker.
refresh and see. I'm pretty sure it's Horton Tucker. McConnell is the pivot. I would say, I don't know, if the rest of your lineup is super chalky, you could mix in McConnell, but he's not like super low owned either. Javon Carter's showing up as a better value than THT now, so it's a tough one. I'm not setting a rule to not play them together. I'll just have lineups with both, I guess.
Yeah,
Nar or Whitehead. I
neither.
would, yeah, I would. I don't even think those two are in the realm of
There's too
options
much
to
value to
play.
be playing with that stuff. I mean, Dariq Whitehead is someone the Nets do want to see what they have. They drafted him early. He was going to be with the team all year because he's talented enough, and he said, "No, I'd rather get real minutes with the G League." Now that he's up, he's been getting minutes. He looks pretty good. So if I'm picking between the two, it's Whitehead. But I just think we have too much value to really play either of them, honestly.
The thing is, yeah, is it possible that they put up a score that could win a tournament tonight? Yes, but the risk that we're taking playing them versus the other guys is just not worth it, no matter how big the contest is.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
SGA on DK, his third play on the model. I would play. I have more of him than Luca, and I have a
I
bunch of
like him more than
Giannis.
Luca.
So
Yeah,
not even studding. These fools know we can see them cheating. Holy smokes. I didn't know where that was going to go. But Nick, let's build a quick dummy. We'll put in Zach Collins and THT. Should we just put in Giovanna too?
uh, I guess.
Or Bees Ellis instead?
Let's go Buzelis. Let's get a little bit weird and go
Let's
with
see
him.
how it
Yeah.
looks. Who else you got?
Um, I think we
Garrett.
could pay up for whatever we want.
Paolo.
Paolo's our guy. We've been tooting that horn.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like it's a lot harder after this.
I like Missy.
All right, we'll put in Missy. Did you like Darius enough to put him in here? I don't know if I do. I'm getting a ton. I'm scared to lower him too much.
He's a good play. He is a good play, but I don't think we need him.
We have
Um,
7,300 left for three positions. We could probably fit in one more top stud.
do we go Giannis?
Let's try Giannis. Oh, we can't.
No.
Paolo and
SGA.
Buzelis, two power forwards. Yeah, I'm okay with trying SGA. I like SGA at the guard spot. Then we have shooting
Yeah.
guard, small forward, 5,300.
Oh yeah. Let's do that.
Karis
What else?
LeVert.
Yeah. I feel like now we can go with another bull. I think if we
Okay, yeah,
want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
into like yeah.
Dalen Terry
Yeah, I think it's Terry
or Javon
over
Carter at point.
Phillips.
Let's do Javon Carter
Carter
since he's
over
top.
Terry. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going Carter, Terry, Phillips if I'm ranking those three, but it
Okay.
could blow up in my face. But
Well, I think that's what the model had too. Carter.
wait, is the Bulls lineup out?
Did we just
Someone
get
just
it?
said Bulls lineup out, or are they just laughing at our poll?
Carter,
Oh, here we
Terry,
go.
Williams, Buzelis, Smith. Gosh dang it.
Beware of THT. I think
Yeah.
he's still a good play, but I knew this would happen. And wow, Smith starting over Collins. Um, Jeez, dude.
We have
They're
to
like,
leave
let's see
like
what. Yeah, we got to get
yeah.
out of here. But guys, Smith is the better play now. Carter's better than THT.
I still
Um,
think Collins is better than Jalen Smith. I don't disagree with Carter over THT though.
I'm almost comfortable just not playing either center. Um,
I might just play
'Cause it
both
is
of them.
Cleveland. I mean, you could also play both, but like you could go Edie and Missy. Um, but yeah, I think Smith is going to look better in the model than Collins after this. But we'll see.
All right,
God,
let's see
that is
here.
gross.
Yeah,
But yeah,
fellas. Who's in the Discord? We got Smitty in the Discord. He probably already started, so jump in there. Instructions are in the description below. But most
ugh,
most of the stuff we talk about still applies. Just shift over some of that to these new Chicago starters, and then with Jalen Smith and Zach Collins, I'm not sure. I'm gonna wait to see the model update. I'm thinking they just split minutes, 24 each, and
yeah, Collins is probably still better. If the field stays on Collins, though, you probably want to get a little bit more Smith. Keep an eye on the ownership; it definitely matters.
stuck THT McConnell Curry last man in. Well, now it's probably. I mean, I'm still okay playing THT. I'm still gonna play a bunch, but I don't know. I don't know what the
Jamal
model is gonna
Murray.
say. Yeah. So appreciate you guys. Join the Q&A, ask us questions in Discord, let us know some ideas. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you